Hey guys, I've been thinking for a little bit, trying to see if I wanted to put this out a little bit about myself, little something personal. But I figured, I've never said anything about it before, but I've been seeing these posts on TikTok about having to look into your inner child, to releasing your inner child and so forth and things like that. And I come to realize that I can't really remember my childhood. I mean, and what I mean by that is like I know a couple. I remember a couple things before I was like six. A couple flashbacks that happened here and then, but my childhood was taken from me. And my childhood was taken from me, I was sexually molested by my mother's best friend's son, which was our babysitter, and I was around, I want to say around 6 or 7, and this person, I'll say it, this person was named Pablo Lopez. And it's crazy because when my mother found out, I kept it a secret. I kept it a secret. And when she found out, because my brother had caught him and so forth, and the whole thing, he got caught, and we kept it a secret. But my brother ended up saying something about it. My mom confronted her friend about it and told her, and they still were best friends and so forth. The funny part is he kept doing it. It kept happening. And to me at that age, I'm like, well, man, what's the point of telling somebody if nothing's going to happen? What's the point of saying anything if nothing was ever going to happen? They were still friends. He was still babysitting us. And it was a fucked up situation. Excuse my language. My childhood, I from 7 to 11, when I turned 11, I had met a friend. I'm not going to say his name, but I met this friend and he introduced me to marijuana. That was my first joint ever. Man, how I remember that day. I fell in love with marijuana that day because it eased the pain. It eased the pain. I didn't remember. It numbed everything. And it's like, it took my mind off. As I say, it chillaxed me. It relaxed me not to worry, not to see things like that. And then I fell in love. Okay. And to me at that age, I'm like, man, I want more because this is what I want to feel to ease the pain. I didn't have a father. By that time, my father was gone. And the crazy things that my father knew about it. What happened to me, because my mom told him, and I remember my dad's words were, and in Spanish, it's like, pinche jotos. That was just his thing. And other than that, I didn't know if he was talking about me or he was talking about, or the other person. I really don't know, but I just remember him leaving. Then at the age of 11, that's what I wanted. I wanted marijuana. It was ease the pain, so I started being rebellious. I wasn't paying attention in school. I was jipping school. I was doing things that I shouldn't have, And this wasn't with like schoolmates or anybody like that. It was with older people, family members that were, let's say, earning money not the legal way, and I decided I wanted to do that. That's what I wanted to do because, well, it was free marijuana. Plus, I was making money. I was doing whatever I had to do, And again, I was being rebellious. I didn't have nobody to talk to or to listen. Yes, I was traumatized. Again, if my mother was still friends with this person and they still allowed him to take or babysit me, that to me it was like at that age I like, fuck, I grew up. I understood then nobody's gonna give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? They just want to keep everything a secret. Or like it never happened. Then, as I was getting older, I got a job, started working, providing for myself a little bit. Still using drugs, still this and that. I never knew I had something special in me because I keep hearing and I start figuring out why things are happening to me. You know what I mean? And I never realized it, but I always knew something was inside me. I just never knew what. Then I got introduced to cocaine. So I started using cocaine. Then I got introduced to alcohol. So I started using alcohol. Then I got introduced to meth. So I started using meth. I couldn't talk to my mother because, well, obviously I was giving her money every week while I was working and do what I was doing, but she knew what I was doing, and not once did she ever say anything about it. You know, oh, just hey, the money was coming in, right? And I wasn't saying it was big time money or not, but at my age, it was a lot of money. It was money for me, you know what I mean? Then, as I was getting older, I started realizing that people will have me around them trying to keep me under the influence or being high all the time. When I didn't have it, oh, they had it. They were there in the quickness. I didn't start realizing that until later. Okay? And it's crazy because I didn't start realizing it until I was into my 30s. You know? I went to prison at the age of 30. Got out when I was 33. Got out, finished what I had to finish, my parole and everything. And then I got back into drugs. And I started seeing people that I didn't even recognize entering my life. And it's like, but I didn't want it. I didn't see it. I wasn't awakened yet. Then a few years passed by, and just a couple years ago, I want to say about 4 years ago, I started realizing, these coincidence that, man, this ain't a coincidence. This is the, you know, and it's like my own family were always keeping me under the influence and making me feel like I'm going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like using infrared lights and having the whole neighborhood using infrared lights to point in my window in my car so I could follow it, because when you're on meth, you're paranoid, you're tweaking, and you're trying to see what is that. And my own family would do that with infrared lights, you know. And those days that I called the cops, I'm like, hey, there's somebody outside my window. Hey, there's this. And then I started realizing they want me to think that I'm crazy for some reason. I don't know what it is. Then I started seeing the setups, you know. Oh, well, we're gonna set him up for this, or try. And I would see it, and I'm like, for some reason, a gut would tell me to leave, and I would leave, you know. But eventually they'll come back, but I wouldn't really realize it. That, I mean, I wouldn't want to believe it, you know, that it was my own family, but it was. Then the mother of my daughter started doing it, gaslighting me, making me think that I'm crazy, something that I need to go check myself in to see that I'm crazy. And then I started realizing something's up, you know, something's going on, something. They're gaslighting me. They're trying to make me feel like I'm insane and crazy for some reason. Why are they doing this? I don't know. So my family decides, well, let's say my mother decides to come to San Antonio, Texas. That I thought that was a good idea, but to be honest, that was the biggest mistake I ever made coming here. Because here it got worse. Here it got worse because once my brother got out of jail when he was in Wichita, Kansas, we decided to bring him over here thinking life was going to be easier, be friends. And it started here. I got him a job with me. Hey, apparently it started happening the same thing.